You're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to Puffy Camp?
Hell no.
Usher, how you been, man? I've been seeing you so long. How much did we drink?
I'm Alice Gaynor outside the federal courthouse where opening statements just concluded in the trial of Sean Diddy Combs, who allegedly helped him cover up crimes like kidnapping, arson, drugs, sex crimes, bribery, and obstruction.
The rumors are that Diddy was running some kind of Epstein-type deal where he was filming everybody.
What if one of the most beloved voices in music had been carrying a secret so dark, so devastating, that revealing it now might not only end careers, it could shake the very foundation of the music industry? In a federal courtroom filled with tension, Usher Raymond, a Grammy-winning icon, stepped forward, not to sing, not to promote an album, but to tell the truth, a truth he said had been eating him alive for more than 2 decades. Usher was just 14 years old when his mother delivered the news. He was going to live with Sean Diddy Combs in New York. To the outside world, it seemed like a golden opportunity, a mentorship arranged by L.A. Reid to help launch Usher's career to the next level. But inside that Manhattan penthouse, what Usher found wasn't guidance or industry advice. It was a world of blurred lines, silent rules, and whispered warnings. "I thought I was going to learn how to be a star," Usher told the courtroom, his voice steady but clearly holding back years of pain. "What I saw instead were things no teenager should be around." The moment he stepped into Diddy's world, he was surrounded by champagne breakfasts, strangers passed out on designer couches, and celebrities lounging half-dressed behind locked doors. He was told it was flavor camp, a term that sounded fun, even creative, but the reality was far more disturbing. What was supposed to be mentorship became silent observation. "This is how we do it," Diddy had told him. "You don't ask, you just watch." And Usher did watch. Parties that felt more like rituals, masks worn by guests, cameras discreetly set up in the corners of rooms, lists that seemed to track who entered and who didn't. It wasn't just sex, he said. There was structure to it. No one looked surprised. It was like a production. The silence in the courtroom was palpable as Usher recounted one night, waking up at 3 a.m. to low music and flickering candlelight. People in masks entered the apartment like it was normal. He wasn't told what it was, just to go back to bed. But he didn't sleep that night. That was the first time he realized this wasn't mentorship. It was something else. At 15, Diddy invited Usher on what he called a private music retreat in the Caribbean. No cameras, no press, just a few trusted people. "I thought I was there to learn more about the business," Usher testified. "But what I realized later was that I wasn't given a choice about the environment I was placed in. It was manipulation." He didn't say everything that happened there, but the implication was heavy. The control, the isolation, the loss of boundaries. After that trip, the tone of their relationship changed completely. Usher was introduced to contracts, one of which included a confidentiality clause. He was 16. His mother co-signed. The label's lawyers called it standard. But now, looking back, he knows what it really was. A contract to buy his silence. "That signature bought my silence for years," Usher said. "I wasn't allowed to speak about parties, guests, behaviors. I was told it would ruin the brand. But what about what it did to me?" Years later, when he considered breaking that silence during a major interview in 2009, he received a call from Bad Boy's legal team. They reminded him of the NDA. Then came veiled threats from people he hadn't heard from in years. "You think you're done with that world, but it's never done with you," he said. He described a mansion party in Atlanta when he was 17. Marble floors, celebrities everywhere, a locked room at the back of the house. "You're not ready for that yet," Diddy said, smirking. Usher peeked in anyway. He wouldn't say what he saw, just that it changed him forever. "I don't know if it was legal, but I know it wasn't right." Then he opened up about someone else, Justin Bieber. Usher had mentored the young singer from the start, wanted to be the big brother he never had. But when Diddy got involved, things changed. He started using the same phrase, flavor camp. Usher got a late-night call from Bieber once, just heavy breathing. And then, "I want to come home." Usher's team couldn't locate him for 2 days. When they finally did, Bieber wouldn't look him in the eye. "I'm good now," was all he said. But Usher knew he wasn't. He confronted Diddy. "What are you doing to these kids?" he demanded. Diddy just laughed. "Same thing they did to me. It's how the game works." That was the last real conversation they had. In 2001, Usher vanished from the spotlight for a week. The public was told he needed rest, but in truth, he checked himself into a private mental health facility under a false name. He had suffered a severe panic attack. The trigger? The smell of a candle. The same brand Diddy used to burn. "My whole body froze," he said. "I started shaking. I couldn't breathe." That's when he was diagnosed with PTSD. And for the first time, he admitted to himself that what happened to him wasn't just painful, it was traumatic. He submitted contract copies and emails in court showing how he was locked into a 5-album deal that took ownership of his masters until he was 35. He wasn't alone. He named other artists, Carl Thomas, Black Rob, Craig Mack, who were promised fame and mentorship, only to be discarded. A private accountant once showed him that he was missing over $4.3 million in royalties. When he brought it up to Diddy, Diddy said, "If you knew what was really owed to you, you wouldn't sleep at night." Usher tried to gather other artists for a private meeting in 2011. But before they could meet, someone tipped Diddy off. It never happened. He described seeing Diddy order the destruction of demo tapes from an artist who had threatened to speak out. "That artist disappeared," Usher said. "I don't know where he is." Nobody does. He brought photocopied pages of a journal he'd kept over the years. It started as a place to write lyrics, but became a vault of memories. In one entry, he wrote, "Loyalty keeps you on tour. Honesty puts you back home." In another, "Too many secrets, too many masks. Diddy says it's just the culture. I don't agree." When asked why he never shared these earlier, he simply said, "I was afraid of losing everything, and I didn't think anyone would believe me." The courtroom held its breath as Usher shared a final, haunting story. In 2002, he was invited to a secret party in the Hollywood Hills. Guests had to turn over their phones. NDAs were handed out, ones with even more aggressive language than usual. There were no producers, no executives, just powerful men, strange contracts, and a heavy sense of secrecy. Usher tried to leave early, but was stopped and taken to a private room where Diddy sat waiting. "You still think this is about music?" he said. "This is bigger than that." Usher said that was the last time he ever attended one of Diddy's events, but the memories never left him, and the guilt only grew. In 2018, he received a call from a blocked number. A voice on the other end warned, "Tell him to keep his mouth shut, or we'll shut it for him." When asked in court who he thought was behind it, Usher simply looked at the defense table and said, "I think you know." So why now? Why speak up after all these years? Usher answered that question himself. "Because I've lived with it long enough. I'm not afraid anymore, not for me. Because I survived. I'm doing this for the ones who didn't." He spoke to the younger generation watching. "This isn't just about one man," he said. "It's about an entire system that told kids like me to be quiet, to stay in line, to never question the hands that fed us." And then, almost as a whisper, he added, "I survived, Puffy, but did the kid in me survive? I still don't know." The courtroom was silent. Outside, the world was watching. What started as a trial for racketeering and trafficking had morphed into something bigger, a reckoning, a long overdue look behind the curtain of fame and at the cost of silence. For years, Usher smiled for the cameras. Now finally he had spoken. Finally he had